Indie Rage Radio, IndieRageRadio.com. We've been teasing it. It is finally here. We got the boys from Poison Politics with us. Guys, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
Going
Hello, hello.
fantastic. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everybody know what you do with the band and your favorite pizza topping.
I'm Gene Vincent. I'm a guitar player, lead guitar, and I think I have to go with sausage, but only done properly in like the New York style, where they slice it and it's little, discs of sausage, not the crumbly sort of bits of sausage. That's bollocks.
Next.
My name is Tommy Gonzalez, and I am percussion. And my favorite pizza topping would have to be bacon.
Nice. Well, I
Yeah.
love bacon. My wife is crazy. She was like, bacon is only for breakfast. And I was like, that's the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. Bacon goes on everything.
Absolute nonsense. It goes, put it literally anything in by itself, even,
Yeah.
a good rasher.
They have bacon ice cream. I mean, come on. Insane.
Gotta love America. Only America would invent that.
All right, so Poison
Yeah.
Politics is a punk band from Denver, Colorado. We're going to be promoting their song Fun No Fun here in a little bit, but let's get to know the band a little bit better. So you guys formed in 2007?
That is correct.
Right on. Tell us how, I would imagine since 2007, there's been some roster changes, but how'd the band get together initially?
Well, I came from a town outside of Denver called Longmont, and there wasn't really much to do there, but go to the bars and drink some more and hang out. So me and a childhood friend of mine got some instruments at the same pretty much time. I got a drum set and he got a bass, and we met this other guy from Illinois who was looking for some musicians to jam with, and we kind of just started hanging out, drinking together, and playing some music. I pretty much came up with the band name from watching CNN late one night, and they were talking about this story about Alexander Litvinenko, who was a KGB agent who was poisoned supposedly by Putin, his own boss or whatever, because he knew some stuff he wasn't supposed to, and the headline read "Poison Politics," and I seen that, and something clicked in my head, and I was like, I really like that name, and I wanted to be kind of a political type band, somewhat like the Sex Pistols, and we started the band around the time when George W. was a president, and it was just after 9/11 and everything, and there was a lot of political tension in the air, and I wanted to be this kind of a political, I guess, type band, and the rest is history. We've gone through, like you said, so much different members because of alcohol, drinking. A lot of people just got sick of it and sick of our stuff, and they couldn't handle it. And so just last couple of years, I met Gene and Frog and Rich, the new lineup. We got together, and we haven't looked back, and it's been great since.
Yeah,
That's about it.
when I'm thinking in my head, Poison Politics is like the quintessential punk band name. Like when you see Poison Politics on the marquee, you know what you're getting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward as far as that goes, and it's a great little sort of double name because having a Poison Politics is I think that's a great image, just even on its own, even outside of the concept of the band. I think that's fantastic imagery.
Yes, most definitely. And I was listening to an interview with Mike from MXPX the other day, and they pretty much had the same origin story. He was like, we were just kids in a small town in Bremerton, and we didn't have anything else to do, so we started a skate punk band. And I mean, that's pretty much the same thing for Nirvana too. Aberdeen, a really small town, and they were just looking for something to do.
Right. Yeah, no, that's amazing. But disenfranchised youth who have nothing better to do can get up to if done properly.
So, how can people find Poison Politics on the internet?
Well, the best places to track us down are Facebook and Instagram, the usual social media stuff. It's whatever the appropriate website, stroke Poison Politics, for all our social media. We have a website where you can go and you can look at, there's some merch on there, and you can stream all our tracks for free, which you can do on most streaming services anyway. But just if you happen to fancy it, and there's some old demos and stuff on there if people are curious, some band photos, all that kind of good stuff. And I believe that's just wix.poisonpolitics.com.
Yeah, and that's politics, Politix.
All right, politics spelled with an X. That is yeah. I always forget to mention that, but you're absolutely right. Yeah, so those are generally the best places to get a hold of us. If you're not in our local area, if you're not in the sort of greater Denver area in Colorado.
Yeah, and I like the way you put this. You guys have been recording at the Blasting Room, and you put that's pretty much a punk mecca. I want to read off some of the bands, and this isn't by all the bands, because then we'd be here forever. But some of the bands that have recorded at the Blasting Room: Mustard Plug, The Ataris, MXPX, Rise Against, Anti-Flag, Comeback Kid, No Effects, Puddle of Mud, Scary Kids, Scaring Kids, SLA Dying, Less Than Jake, A Day to Remember, and the list goes on and on and on, man. How did you guys get hooked up with the Blasting Room, and how did you know that was where you wanted to record?
Well, I think anybody who knows what the Blasting Room is knows that's where they want to record, basically, in any genre, but certainly the hard genres. Just having the opportunity to record there is a godsend for anybody who knows what they're talking about. How we sort of got in there, at least for this last couple of sessions, was about 3 years ago now. We, Poison Politics, and a number of other people got together to do a single for Ukraine to help raise money for people in Ukraine. Tom mentioned the origin of the band name earlier, but additionally, my wife is Ukrainian. She's from Kharkiv, which is a city that's still under constant bombardment from Russian forces. So we take it very, very seriously, and Ukrainian freedom and all that is very important to us. And we got together a number of other people, including like Kitty Kowalski from the New York punk band the Kowalskis, and all of this, and recorded the single at the Blasting Room. They were incredibly generous with their time, time and skills and all of this. And I've known some of them for a long time, at least a little bit, to sort of acquaintance level. Anyway, so we went and we recorded that single, and we called it "Rocket to Russia" after the great Ramones album. And we got to work with the engineer and producer Colton Crone, who was just incredible. I mean, everyone in there, Bill, Jason, and Chris are all just beyond talented. And after that experience, when it came time to start doing our own recording, sort of as ourselves, we reached out, and I said, look, if there's any chance you can get us in, it works in between the cracks, basically, we'll sleep outside, we'll come in at 4 o'clock in the morning and do an hour's work, any whatever we could do, we would have been happy to do it just to be in those rooms.
Clean the toilets.
No question about it. I'd clean it with my shirt if I have to. Again, Colton was fantastic, and he said, "Yeah, come in. We'll do a couple of days, and we'll do a couple of tunes." So we got to do that. We did 2 singles, which are coming or are both out now. One of which, as you mentioned earlier, "Fun No Fun," and the other, "Eat Out Your Heart," which is out now. And that started a great relationship. And Colton produced and engineered those 2 records, and then Jason Livermore, who is now Grammy award-winning Jason Livermore. In the meantime, he mastered them for us, which was fantastic. And then actually we're hoping to do some more at the end of this year. Again, if they can sort of squeeze us in. But Yeah, so that's sort of a bit of a rambling answer there, but yeah, that's more or less how we got plugged in, and we're grateful to them that they keep letting us turn off.
Yeah, you mentioned the war in Ukraine, and obviously, our thoughts go out to everybody who's living over there. Tons of humanitarian issues going on, but when the war first started, it got me interested in watching some Russian and Ukraine vloggers to see what it's like in their countries. I was telling my wife the other day, I was like, man, it is such a shame because the footage you see today of what's happening in the Ukraine, it was such an absolutely beautiful country, and all the architecture and even the modern stuff that was built in modern times. It was beautiful, and it's all gone.
Yeah. And they've done incredible work, especially since 2014, which is their last, when they really turned a corner. Obviously, all of the post-Soviet nations, Lithuania and Estonia, and even the Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan and all of these places have a long and difficult struggle after the fall of the Soviet Union, especially to deal with corruption and all of the just nasty stuff the Soviet Union left behind even after it went away. And 2014 was around the time Ukraine really turned the corner, and started rebuilding in all sorts of ways, particularly with like the architecture and the buildings. They started cleaning up the old stuff and revitalizing it and building new and incredible things. And to watch it all go away has been horrible. I mean, my wife had to watch the building she was born in, the apartment complex she was born in, flattened by Russian missiles. Which is, I can't even imagine, how horrible it must be to see that, and it's just gone. You can never put it back together again. They will rebuild, eventually, and it will be incredible again, but it won't be quite the same.
And speaking of rockets to Russia, the video's on YouTube if you want to go check it out. Where were you guys recording, like, the band jamming at? That location looked dope.
It was very cool. It was the town that Tom mentioned earlier, Longmont, which is just kind of outside of Denver, has a bunch of abandoned places to it. There's an old abandoned factory and a mill of some sort. And we went and we just kind of found some places that looked a bit derelict, because we were obviously trying to evoke that all this beautiful stuff is wrecked and gone. We were trying to sort of evoke that with the place. And this was just an old kind of abandoned place by some old abandoned train tracks. And we just sort of happened upon it. Went, yep, that's the spot. Right, lads, here we go.
Yeah, that was a perfect choice, because I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, bro, did they go to Europe to film this? Because not only does the building look Europe, like the fence that's there, it doesn't look like an American fence. I was like, this is dope.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible that we got that lucky. It worked out quite well. But the director of that video, Jamie, who's an old mate of mine from years ago, who just did us a favor with that. She's got a great eye for that sort of thing, so she can make anything look incredible with a camera. To be honest with you, she's fantastic.
Hey, Tommy, what does the future of? Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say to add to that, what we were just talking about with the where we shot the footage for that video, that just goes to show basically how kind of drab or whatever Longmont really is. I mean, obviously there's nothing really to do there. So that it was a dog food factory, and some kids, before we shot that video, actually went and burnt it down. So that's why it looks so kind of war torn,
Yeah.
because it was just burnt down by some bored adolescent youths, and that just kind of goes to show the level of hopelessness, that came from that town, and the video caught it, quite well.
Most definitely. Now, hey, Tommy, what does the future look like for Poison Politix? What you guys got in the cooker?
I'm thinking it looks bright. It looks very bright. We and I included, recently quit drinking.
Hey.
And so basically that was holding me back a lot, holding the band back. Um, and so, everybody's trying to get their stuff together, and so I just see everything looking up and up. It seems like as soon as I stopped drinking, all of a sudden, all these opportunities started opening up, and all these doors and everything. So wherever the band is going, the direction we're going, I think it's in a good direction. That's for sure. We got rid of our lead singer, who was with the band for all these probably 16, 17 years. We got rid of him finally because he couldn't stop drinking, and we couldn't play a show with this guy without him showing up just dead drunk, ready to ruin everything. And um, yeah, we didn't really make it we didn't really make it too far, like behaving that way. So that's got a lot to do with it as we're trying to, I guess, redeem ourselves. And you know, I'm not saying we're some church kids or anything and this and that, but we're definitely learning our priorities. And so, yeah, to answer your question, I think we are. I don't know. I think we're gonna go a lot further now. Hopefully.
There you go. If you're a promoter or a venue owner and you want to book an aggressive punk rock band to tear the house down, not literally, figuratively speaking, hit them up on Facebook and Instagram. Poison Politix. That's Politix with an X and a CS. All right, so let's talk about some of the bands. Now, you guys obviously get your sound from the 1970s punk movement. What's some of the bands out there that really influenced the sound of Poison Politix?
Gene, you can start.
Oh yeah, okay. So we all have sort of varied influences, which is not uncommon in the band, but there's a lot of stuff that we all really keen in on, particularly from, as you say, the 70s. The New York Dolls and the sort of companion band Johnny Thunders and the Heartbreakers, the Pistols, the Clash, Ramones, Dead Boys.
Dead Boys.
Yeah, the Dead Boys are incredible New York punk band from the 70s. So you didn't ever quite make it to the same heights as like the Clash, and then but also some of the popular stuff, Blondie, the Jam, that kind of stuff. Because the Bowie, yeah, you can't play rock and roll if you're not influenced by Bowie. It's not allowed. And that sort of stuff. That's where we all really come together and appreciate that same stuff together. I know Tom's got a few other great bands that he always loves to mention here, but
basically, I really got into a lot of the 90s punk rock, such as like Rancid. There's a lot of Rancid, Bouncing Souls, Pennywise. Like the second wave, third wave. A lot of that.
Yeah, and
Rise Against.
Yeah, it's essentially half the records that we were talking about were recorded at the Blasting Room. Those are also the Descendants themselves. Are everybody loved them from our world, from our scene. They're one of the greatest bands who's ever played in any genre. I put them up against anybody in any genre, not just the punk rock stuff, but yeah, so it's not that disparate for as far as punk bands go, but some of us have some weirder influences too, like Marvin Gaye, some of the old school soul music and R&B, Gary U.S. Bonds, and then like in the great reggae and ska stuff in the 70s and 80s as well. Jimmy Cliff and Toots and the Maytals, I draw massive inspiration from those lads. Because I think reggae and ska, as well as hip hop later on, share in common with punk rock that they're all the same. They're trying to do the same thing, just for different peoples in different places with different cultural backgrounds. It's young, disaffected, angry kids who don't really know how to do anything else but kind of bang out some very simple tunes, and trying to make sense of the world, and being angry about how they're getting shorted, and trying to express that in some way. I think all of those genres came from the same place, and we share this sort of common cultural background, even though we're from sort of disparate places and things. Hip hop is exactly the same way. If you anyone who's listened to early Run DMC and KRS-One and NWA, and by the time the late 80s roll around, they're saying the exact same things, just from their own experience. So we got that as well. Frog, we were just
Frog had some technical difficulties. He's finally with us.
Totally did.
Frog, go ahead and introduce yourself to the Rage Nation. Tell us what you do with the band and your favorite pizza topping.
I'm Frog Lysol. I am background vocals and rhythm guitar. Favorite pizza topping is anchovies.
Yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. I hit the wrong one. Anchovies. I got a pizza with anchovies one time, and they only put half anchovies, because my dad was like, I don't think you're going to like anchovies. And he was like, no, Pop, I like anchovies. And not only did he not like anchovies, the funk from the anchovies ruined the other side of the pizza too.
Yeah, you can't reheat pizza with anchovies on it. No way.
But I commend you. I commend you for that.
Yeah, he gets his own separate one when we're on the road from now on.
Oh, I hope so.
He can sit in the corner and eat it.
What are the reactions of the people at the pizzeria when you ask for anchovies? Do they say, we never get this a lot, or?
They say, let me open the can.
let me dust off the can first.
Really say anything.
Yeah, after they blow off of 2 inches of dust off of it from the back.
Yeah, probably.
Hey, a lot of protein.
Stuff to survive nuclear war, right?
A lot of iron, a lot of vitamins, power packed. They say it's a superfood. All right, so sadly, we're at the end of the interview, Frog. So we're going to go ahead and talk about the song "Fun No Fun." What's this song about?
Fun No Fun. It's really about a person falling into alcoholism and kind of losing their way, and how that affected the people around them, and how they didn't really understand that. Unfortunately, I believe that is what it is about. So it's about having fun with somebody, but and then the next thing you know, them being no fun, because they're so convoluted,
Very good. Anybody else want to interject anything?
Yeah, I mean, he nailed it dead on. He's the person in question was a former band member of Poison Politics. Tom referenced him earlier. Oh, well, called him out by name, obviously. But yeah, it's about exactly that. When you have something really good, like this particular person was a talented person. They were a good guitar player, a good songwriter, and a good vocalist. They had talent. There was stuff there, which meant when it was on, it was fantastic. But with alcoholism, it tends to go off far more than it's on. And it is that massive bouncing back and forth and being caught in that situation. And it was kind of, after he left the band, this song was kind of that message to him, like, look, your time in the band is over, but you have the talent, and if you have the willpower to sort yourself out, as awful as it was before, you can still sort yourself out. Time's not done yet. And hopefully that message will one day get through to them and anyone else who's in the same position, because there's millions of people in the world suffering from exactly this right now. And hopefully they'll sort themselves out and get back on the, healthy trade of life, as it were.
Mm-hmm. Do you have anything to add, Tommy?
Yeah, what they said, it's It's just like that. But in my mind, when I hear the song, um, I think the song could be about anything, not just alcohol, but it's about somebody who has the opportunity, and um, they lose their way, they lose track of their priorities, and you let um, the negativity ultimately destroy you. It could be about women, sex. It could be about any drug. It could be about just anything. When you lose your priority and you lose your passion and when you lose that passion, to me, that's to me, I think that's what it's about. You no longer care about what really matters, and you're just killing yourself. You're ready to let go. You know, that's what that song is to me.
Get out there and support this band, Poison Politics with an X. Go stream their music, go buy their tunes, go follow them on Facebook and Instagram. We're going to go ahead and play it. Here it is. Here's Fun, No Fun from Poison Politics. He is Tommy. He is Gene. He is Frog. I am Mikey O. Here it is. Fun, No Fun on Indie Rage Radio.